Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be focusing on task 20, severity number 7 in the OWASP top 10. This is going to be cross-site scripting, and let's take a look at the documentation. XXS explained. Cross-site scripting, also known as XXS, is a security vulnerability typically found in web applications. The type of injection which can allow an attacker to execute malicious scripts and have it execute on the victim's machine. A web application is vulnerable to XXS if it uses unsanitized user input. XXS is possible in JavaScript, VBScript, Flash, and in CSS. There are three main types of cross-site scripting: stored XXS, reflected XXS, and DOM-based XXS. Now for stored XXS, the most dangerous type, this is where a malicious string originates from the website's database. This often happens when a website allows user input that is not sanitized, meaning they do not remove the bad parts of users' input when inserted into the DB. Reflected XXS, this malicious payload is part of the victim's request to the website. The website includes this payload in response back to the user. To summarize, an attacker needs to trick a victim into clicking a URL to execute their malicious payload. DOM-based XXS. DOM stands for Document Object Model and is a programming interface for HTML and XML documents. Represents the page so that programs can change the document structure, style, and content. A web page is a document, and this document can either be displayed in the browser window or as an HTML source. For more XXS explains and exercises, check out the room here. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, XXS payloads. Remember, cross-site scripting is a vulnerability that can be exploited to execute malicious JavaScript on a victim's machine. Check out some common payload types used. We have pop-ups, so script alert, hello world script creates hello world message pop-up in the user browser. We have writing HTML, so document.write, and override the website's HTML to add your own, essentially defacing the entire page. We have an XXS keylogger, which would be here if you wanted to check out a simple keylogger. I also have a keylogger in my GitHub that I created if you'd like to check that out. And of course, these things are only for research purposes only. I'm not responsible for what you choose to do with that. You can log all keystrokes of a user, capturing their password and other sensitive information they type into the web page. Now we also have port scanning. We have a port scanning payload here. XSSpayloads.com, payload scripts, port scan API.js, and a mini local port scanner, which would basically show open ports and or services running. XSSpayloads.com is a website that has XSS related payloads, tools, documentation, and more. You can download XSS payloads that take snapshots from a webcam or even get capable port and network scanner. Let's take a look at the XSS challenge. The VM attached to this task showcases DOM-based, reflected, and stored XSS. Deploy the machine and exploit each type. So we've already deployed the VM. We'll click complete. All right, navigate to HTTP 10.10.115.87. Copy this in your browser and click on the reflected XSS tab on the nav bar. Craft a reflected XSS payload that will cause a pop-up saying hello. Come in here. This page demonstrates a a few reflected XXS attacks. All answers need to be submitted in the XXS room. Questions: 1. Craft a reflected XXS payload that will cause a pop-up saying hello. 2. Craft a payload that will cause a pop-up with your IP address. Why does this work? Because the input's not being scrubbed, but at a higher level, when you submit anything in the search input, it will appear in the keyword query in your URL. This would be the keyword query here. Remember, the main difference between reflected and DOM-based XSS is that with reflected XSS, your payload string in this case gets inputted directly into the page. No JavaScript is loaded beforehand, neither is anything processed in the DOM beforehand. Look at the source code, you'll notice your payload is executed directly on the web page. H6, your search for XYZ, your input's here. This means any user input that is not sanitized will be executed. Now, disable your browser's XSS protection. Some browsers have built-in XSS protection. For the purpose of this playground, it might be necessary to remove this protection. We recommend you use Firefox and complete the following steps. Probably not going to have to do this, so let's just try this payload here. And as mentioned here, we have the pop-up right here, or we have the payload here. So script, alert, hello world, close script here. Now we could try it here in the search bar. And the answer is there's more to XSS than you think. Click submit, and let's move on to question 3. On the same reflective page, craft a reflected XSS that will cause a pop-up with your machine's IP. So, what we need to do, we can navigate to like XSS payloads, accept all the cookies, or reject, whatever you prefer. Now, in terms of doing these things, okay, on the same reflective page, craft a reflected XSS payload that will cause a pop-up with your machine's IP address. Now, in the field of hacking, pen testing, right, we're not going to remember all of these scripts, nor should you even try, right? The idea of being an expert on the computer and or in cybersecurity is being able to find information you need at the drop of a hat. That being said, we could Google this. However, let's check out the hint. Question hint. In JavaScript, window.location.hostname will show your host name. In this case, your deployed machine's host name will be its IP. So what we're going to do is take this windows.location.hostname and implement that into the script. So we'll take that, and we're going to need the script as well. So I would suggest using some sort of notepad here, as it's kind of hard to have all this information at the same time due to the fact that if you copy and paste, it's going to copy only one of these in your clipboard. It's kind of hard to keep both. So we'll take the script, put it in our note, and then it would be window.location.hostname, right? Yeah, window.location.hostname. So take that and we can just implement it here. Window.location.hostname, and it's still an alert due to the fact that we needed to alert us, right, for the reflective part. So we could go ahead and post that. Keyword is equal to window.location.hostname. You see what I mean with the clipboard there. So let's go ahead and just bring up the script, copy that, add it to the clipboard, paste it, copy it again, and paste it. Reflective XXS for the win will be our answer. Copy that, and that will be the answer to the question. Moving on to question 4. All right, so we're working on task 20 here, cross-site scripting. Question 4. It's asking us to navigate to 10.10.61.129 in the browser. Click on Stored XSS tab on the nav bar and make an account. Then add a comment to see if you can insert some of our own HTML. So let's go ahead and do that. 10.10.61.129. Go ahead and load up Firefox here. Probably wrong. 61.129, 10.10. There's a oops, extra 10. Here we go. All right. So now go to Stored XSS, create an account. We've already done that, but let's go ahead and do it again here and say user, new user. Cool, it signed us in. Perfect. Now go to Stored XSS again, and we see that there's some comments going on between some of the users here. This high in here with the opening of HTML, closing of the tag, and successfully added HTML comment. Answer for Q1 is HTML tag. So that's exactly what it was looking for. We'll go ahead and copy the answer and post it here. So you could see how that would kind of be an issue in an organization. On the same page, let's move on to the next question. On the same page, create an alert pop-up box. On the same page, create an alert pop-up box that appears on the page with your document cookies. Once again, you're not going to remember all of this stuff off the top of your head. I recommend making notes on specifically on how to do this. If not, you're gonna have to use your awareness and your search for Google. But we're gonna create a pop-up in document cookies. I believe it's gonna be document.cookies or something of this nature. So let's go here. Here's some notes and some scripts that I've managed to get my hands on, and we will just use the script, call for an alert, and then in parentheses document.cookie will close the script. Now feel free to type it if you think that's going to help you remember it. However, I'm just going to make a note of this as I guarantee that in any live situation or situations where you're performing a pen test, you're going to refer to your notes either way. So you can go ahead and do that. parentheses, document.cookie, close parentheses, close the quotation, close the parenthesis, and then close the script. Document.cookie. Interesting. Okay. I believe we didn't actually do that correctly, as we spelled cookie instead of cookies. So parentheses, quotation, actually script, alert, quotation, document.cookies, plural, close quotation, close parenthesis, close the script. Document.cookie, document.cookies. Okay. All right. So when we add parentheses, that is going to try to basically type that. So that is the error that's happening. Script alert document.cookies, close parenthesis, close the script. Document.cookie, document.cookies. And here's a cookie right here. Connect.sid is equal to the cookie we have here. And the answer is well done, level 2. Copy that. Go ahead and paste that. The last question here. Change XXS Playground to I am a hacker by adding a comment and using JavaScript. So let's take a look at the hint. Provides us with the script. Very good. Script document.query selector thm title text content is equal to I am a hacker script. Now I believe this is the entire answer. Managed to screw over the entire box here. It's actually not going to load. However, we did receive an answer, and that is websites can easily be defaced with XXS. Go ahead and click submit. And that is the end of the cross-site scripting task here. Let's go ahead and move on in the next video to task 21, and that will be insecurity serialization. Thank you for watching.